Ladies and gentlemen, I join the words of gratitude addressed to Madam Minister and to the government of India for arranging this 15th meeting of foreign ministers of Russia, India and China. The meeting reaffirmed that this format is both useful and a format that allows to have a clear picture of the steps that should be taken to shape the current world order. Russia, India and China share this assessment. We want to see the world multipolar, that is an objective trend, a world that would be built upon the international law, the respect for the United Nations Charter principle. We had a candid, trust-based, frank exchange of views on the majority of issues. We share our positions, and this unity of our approaches and our interests have been reflected in in-depth and specific joint communique that we circulate following our today's meeting. We are concerned about the developments that we witness today, such as the erosion of international law and the growth of force and factor of force in the international affairs. Against this backdrop, our joint work is of special importance. We agreed to improve the coordination of our steps within the United Nations, within G20, the SCO, within BRICS, as well as within various platforms in the Asia-Pacific, above all East Asia summits. We share the stance on the need to bolster efforts to shape in the Asia-Pacific region a versatile, open, inclusive security and cooperation architecture. By the way, we agreed, and my colleagues have already said that, to hold regular trilateral consultations on the Asia-Pacific issues. The first were held in China. The second round of these consultations will be hosted by our Indian friends, and we accepted this invitation. We focused on the need to bolster multilateral approach in international affairs and the need to seek collective responses. In the adopted communique, we express zero tolerance towards unilateral sanctions and economic pressure. We highlighted that this is at odds with the norms of international law. This undermines the credibility of the United Nations Security Council. We stand for continued reform of the international financial system. This subject has been promoted both within RIC and within BRICS, together with the like-minded nations within G20. We stand for ensuring open, non-discriminatory nature of the world trade system. Against this backdrop, we had an in-depth discussion of the prospects of aligning various integration processes in Eurasia. In this regard, let me note that both India and China have launched negotiations with the Eurasian Economic Union on developing cooperation, liberalizing trade, and I'm confident that these negotiations will yield positive results for everyone. We noted the importance of developing cooperation building upon our projects to implement and unlock transport and transfer potential of our three countries. We see here yet another contribution in shaping a greater Eurasian partnership that was highlighted at the summits with the participation of our leaders. Special attention was paid to anti-terror track. We highlighted that this fight should be uncompromising, and we should fight against all forms and manifestations of terrorism, including the spread of extremism and terrorist ideology. We highlighted the relevance of anti-terror cooperation, an experience that was accumulated within the SCO. This year, the SCO adopted a unique convention on combating extremism. Russia, India and China are also ready to share with other partners their best practices on combating the funding for terrorism, on combating foreign terrorist fighters. A database on foreign terrorist fighters that was established in the Russian Federation is a convenient platform for cooperation. Our Chinese and Indian partners are already engaged in this cooperation. We highlighted the need to enhance efforts to halt the attempts to spread weapons of mass destruction. Our partners supported the idea on the need to swiftly launch the work on the Convention of Biological and Chemical Terrorism. And from this viewpoint, we shared the ideas on the use of ICTs, including the universal rules of responsible contact of states in the information space. That is also the initiative of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization members. We also are against the placement of weapons in outer space, and we will coordinate our actions in this area of international cooperation. When it comes to the regional issues, we shared our assessments on the situation on the Korean Peninsula. It is quite tense, and we believe it is inadmissible to exacerbate this military tension and confrontation due to the propaganda. It can be transferred from the propaganda state to the military state, and we highlighted that there is no alternative to the political and diplomatic solution. As you know, there is the respective roadmap sponsored by Russia and China. We compared notes on the situation in Afghanistan, in Iraq, Yemen, Libya. On the Syrian settlement, we stand for swift launch of the national reconciliation process in line with the Resolution 2254 of the Security Council, and in this regard, we emphasize that this goal is facilitated by the Astana process and the initiative to convene the Congress of the Syrian National Dialogue. We highlighted the need to abide fully by the resolution of the Security Council endorsing the Minsk package of measures on the settlement of the Ukrainian crisis. We have overviewed the implementation of ideas that were discussed during our last meeting in April 2016 in Moscow, and we noted that since then some specific tangible success has been reached in establishing new formats of our interaction, namely the successful convening of RIC Young Diplomats meeting in China that was hosted in China this year. Next year it will be hosted by India, and in 2019 Russia will invite young diplomats of all three countries. In conclusion, we highlighted the importance of political think tanks and their work on the subjects that are discussed at the interstate and intergovernmental level of RIC. And in this regard, I would like to know that the 15th academic conference was held in India, and the 16th conference of this kind will be hosted by Russia next year. That is an important intellectual potential that will help enhance our strategic partnership. We had bilateral meetings with Madam Minister of External Affairs and Foreign Minister of China and India. We discussed the state of implementation of arrangements reached during Russia-India and Russia-China summits, and we have outlined other steps to prepare for the future contacts of our leaders and contacts at other levels. Once again, I express my gratitude to Madam Swaraj and to all of our Indian friends. Thank you.
For your remarks. This concludes the event. I thank you all for your presence.